Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Making Space for Love. As always, I am Joey Hamilton here with Graham Betchart.
Let's go, Joey. Keeping it moving.
Dude, we are in the space of doing live call-ins now. It's so wild.
Nothing could be funner for me. This is a dream come true.
Dude, I feel so good today. It is a beautiful day
Yeah, it
here.
is.
It was like, what was interesting, it was like 80 degrees over in the East Bay all the way
Hmm.
through the city. And as soon as I came down and up down in that hill, it was like 70, 68
Right by the coast.
right by the coast. Now it's just so perfect and peaceful. We got your sitting in the garage, looking out your back door here.
Just looking at trees. Beautiful to live by the coast. Be
It's
here in
amazing.
nature. All right. Well,
Um, so we're gonna start having some
yeah.
new guests along with our callers, contacts that Graham's met along
Oh,
his
yeah.
journey. So I'm just gonna let you introduce them.
Yeah, we got some great experts going to join us today. Just got the text back from Maris Loeffler. She's amazing. Maris is a licensed family marriage therapist. Absolutely incredible. I've been working with her for years. So not only is she like a peer, a friend, she's just an incredible human being. Great artist, great piano player,
Wow.
works with athletes, like just an incredible human. Like, I can't wait for everyone to get to meet her a little bit. She's going to give us great advice and she can really frame things in a unique way. I mean, she's just super specialized in this. So Maris is going to be a guest on our show in a variety of ways. And then Dr. Matt Park
Ooh,
will be joined. Yeah,
doctor in the house.
Dr. Matt Park, a legend in the mental performance space, and also does marriage and family therapy and counseling and has coached me and my wife, has given us great tips. He's amazing. Also, of course, he coaches astronauts at NASA, and he works with some of the best golfers in the world. So, an incredible coach, coaching some of the
Wow.
best athletes. Yeah, did a lot of work with NASA and is going to be joining us from time to time, giving us advice.
Man,
So,
we are
we're excited. Yeah.
lucky and grateful.
Yeah. Check it out.
The
Dr.
two
Matt
words.
Park, Maris Loeffler, two incredible really specialized in relationships, which is cool. They understand performance psychology. They're great human beings, but they're this is their specialty, you know. And so for me, I'm excited to bring them to people. I always felt really privileged that I got to have them in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be coached by them. Just because I get to be in the mental health space, I get to meet a lot of people in this space. So I get to learn. You know, one of the benefits is you learn from really bright people. And so
Yeah.
for them to help people, it's going to be great. Going to be great to introduce them today. And I think we'll be able to get Maris on in about 45 minutes. She's texting, hey, how long will it be? You know,
Awesome.
maybe 15-minute, a little bit. Let's start, something like that.
All right.
Give it a try.
Yeah, I'm excited. I listened to a little bit of something you sent me that where Maris was speaking. I have like just started a list of questions
Yeah.
because she's able to frame some things in ways that I haven't heard other therapists talk.
Yeah.
And I think being able to have her and Dr. Matt on this show gives it like, you know, you're the coach,
Yeah.
I'm the athlete,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
they're doing the thing. And then we have the two of them that's, I don't know, what would they be? Like
I mean,
the
what else can we say
athletic
besides
trainer,
real
kind of
experts?
like
Yeah.
they're
Or
just the
just
expert in the
like
body,
the head coach, the
like the head
person,
coach.
you want to get the real science behind this and get some real stuff that's past, the test of time. And just, you've heard Maris talk. I've heard Maris and Matt. When they start giving a framework, you go, okay, this makes sense. You always got to do the work, right? You always got to do your work, but they give you such a cool framework. And like, to me, all great coaches, it seems doable. You're like, okay, I can do this. And they're like, yeah, you can do it. And they got your back on it. But I know you got to hear Maris for the first time the other day. She's brilliant. You'll get to hear Matt. And again, these are not people, these are like, not only are they good at what they do, they've coached me. So,
Right.
like,
Like the coach's coach.
yeah, don't ever kid yourself. I get to do the work. I feel blessed that I get to get coached by them, and they have unique perspectives. Yeah, this will be a lot of fun. Let me text Maris back and let her know
And
that.
I'm coordinating with our caller right now.
So should we call Maris in like 30 minutes or what?
30, 45 minutes. And
Yes,
then,
perfect.
yeah, we just got to keep a little eye on the clock. Because, I love talking with our callers. We could talk with them all day. But I
That's
also
good.
realize that, like, when people listen to this, they don't have you know,
No, they don't.
unlimited amounts of
And we can
time.
call Maris whenever, and you can just fire away your question and just be like,
That's
"Here,
awesome.
here's a minute with Maris," and we get to go, connect with her, and she gives us a little marriage minute with Maris.
I love it. The marriage minute.
The marriage minute
That's so good.
with Maris.
That's the other thing I was saying is like, I was telling somebody this morning about, kind of like the 7 tools in our framework that we've
Yeah,
seemed to have created, and saying it's not just for people exploring the dating world or the discovery world,
yeah, yeah,
right? And
yeah.
it's not, it could be for anybody in any stage of life, in any stage of a relationship, in any kind of relationship.
Come on.
And so, one of the directions I think, or I hope this podcast goes, is like talking to people who are in relationships,
Yeah,
right? Like working through stuff with them and saying, like, because it's not like all of a sudden you get into a relationship, even if that relationship is healthy.
come on, dude.
It's not like the voices stop or the
No,
feelings in your body stop or
come
all
on.
your trauma just goes away,
No,
right? Like,
you've just made space. You found someone who's a good. You guys are good fits for each other. Essentially, now the work starts,
mhm,
right? And it's everyday work. Every day, like anything, you want to be good at something. It's everyday work. But as you have the tools, you know you can do it, right? You know you can do it. Like when you first say, like, your first time living with someone, it's my experience, your first time living with someone, you're like, whoa, this is wild, right? First time learning to share,
yeah,
first time learn to actually make space for a partner. Like I wasn't making space early on, and then like literally making space. Like where in your life would you make space for someone to come into your life? If you're just always working, you're always, perfectly busy with all of your hobbies and all this cool stuff, what exact space does that partner get to come in? And so, like, making space for someone as they come into your life could be physical space in your house, right? You're like, say you're a homeowner, you're doing really well in life. You're like, where would they be in your home? Is there actual
like
space for them?
making physical space, like,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, so that partner can come into your life. So this is an ongoing thing that goes on in the relationship, how you make space for each other and the different dynamics that come through at different times in your life. Say there's a 2, 3, 4, 5 year span where one of the partners has a career, what is just taking off in certain dynamic ways. And you're like, okay, the other one is more of like a support system for that. Well, that's a dynamic, right, in that space where you're like, well, one person's really kind of leading a lot. But then after 5 years, it's like, oh, okay, well, that shifts maybe. And then it's like making space for the other person to kind of, have their space whenever that comes. So this is like, it's an everyday thing. You're working with someone as a partnership, but I like
Oh,
making
we have a
space as well.
caller.
We got a caller. Let's
All
go. Caller
right.
coming in. Boom.
Here
Let's
we
roll.
go, caller. This is our second caller.
Let's go, caller.
Hello.
Hi,
Hi, caller. Can you tell us your name and where you're calling from?
this is Kate,
Hi,
and I'm
Kate.
calling from Oregon.
Kate from
Kate from
Oregon.
Oregon. Welcome, Kate. Welcome to the
Yeah,
show.
thanks. Hi, Graham.
Hey, pleasure to meet you. Grateful to be
Yeah,
here.
nice to meet you too.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. We're grateful. We love having callers calling in, and we're excited.
Well, cool. I like what you guys are doing. I think it's really interesting work.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad.
Yeah,
So it sounds like you're familiar with the show.
yeah. What do you say? Long time caller, first time. No, long time listener, first time caller.
I love it.
Perfect. There it is. I love it.
Love
Well,
it.
welcome to the show, Kate. Anything top of mind for you, or anything that like prompted calling in?
Um, I think I'm just interested in the work you guys are doing. I've been like dabbling a little bit in online dating. I have theories about it, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Just
What are
curious.
your theories?
Yeah. We're
What are
curious.
my
Yeah.
what are my theories? Well, I've had a few interesting experiences, and and like when I think about all of those different and calling we're gonna call them interesting experiences. I think there's like I'm noticing a common thread. And then interestingly enough, I feel like I notice a common thread, like that same thing in myself pops up sometimes.
Mm,
And yeah, I'm just kind of curious, like what you would have to say about recognizing those patterns in
yeah.
yourself and like calling them out and just getting better
Yeah.
Oh,
with
I like
it.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. Kate, what pattern comes to mind? Like specifically,
Yes.
what do you notice in yourself? Yeah.
Oh, in myself?
Yeah, or like what do you see? Like what do you,
Well,
when we think about patterns,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So I've met quite a few different people. And like to give just a really quick little snapshot of the context of how, like, where I'm coming from in this
Yeah.
is I was married for quite a long time. And that was the only person I ever dated. And so now I'm now I'm not married. And now I'm meeting people and learning a lot about myself through the process. And learning just like filters that we all have and that we all approach dating through. And so, in my experience, I've met some cool people and I've met some like really, I don't know, different people that I would have never ever crossed paths with
Mm,
in a million years. Um,
yeah.
and like some of them I feel like people just do weird things when they are basically operating from a place of insecurity
Yeah.
is I think the heart of what this is. Like I've had like this one guy showed up at my gym
Mm,
unannounced because
mm.
he knew I was there. So
That's
that was weird.
unsettling. Yeah, that's really weird, huh?
And
That's weird.
well, we were talking on the phone and he knew what gym I went to and he knew I was at that gym. So he's like driving around town and so then he walks in the door and I happened to be walking out the door at the same time. And I just like looked at him and kept walking and then texted him later and was like, was that you?
Hmm.
And he finally like texted like the next day, like, yeah, that was me. And I was like, cool, cool. Well,
Yeah.
it was nice to meet you, but I'm not gonna be going on a date with you.
Yeah, no thanks.
Um, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, too bad you never gave me a chance. And I was like, dude, I gave you a
Yeah, I
chance. You
gave you a
did.
chance.
You ruined
Yeah,
it.
I
Yeah.
talked to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I talked to you. That was the chance. Um, Another guy.
Wow,
Let's
it's
see.
so amazing, Kate, just to jump in, like it's like the first thing of just making someone feel safe. I've always felt like that was a foundational thing. Is like the first thing I got to do is just make who I'm talking to feel safe and feel comfortable. And it just feels like that violated that totally, like
Oh yeah.
100%. That's amazing. And it's like you mentioned, like the insecurities, like for someone to do that, they're really feeling insecure. And I don't think there's anything wrong with feeling insecure, but like acting on that, that's a whole different thing, right? That's that moment where
Yeah.
you feel that impulse and you're like, like I'm scared or insecure. And that to us, that's that moment to take a breath and pause and really slow things down. Like slow it down. Sorry you had to go through that. That's not cool at all or not fun. And that's like not a good experience. And I'm just thinking from like the other person who got hit with that uncomfortableness, that's just that moment to really take your breath and choose your response. And then automatically, whether you know it or not, you're putting off signals of like, I'm, working on myself. I'm emotionally intelligent. We can't help sometimes what triggers us, but we can choose our response, really powerful. So I just look at that as an opportunity right there. But sorry you had to go through that. That's really unsettling. Jeez, Kate. Oh my God. Okay.
I mean, that was like the first person that I talked to on
Yeah.
the dating site. So I was
Okay.
like,
Okay.
wow, this is not going to go so well.
Yeah, that's a tough first start, huh? That's a
Wow.
tough first
That was
start.
a tough first start. Yeah. And there's like different interesting stories of like, meeting up, like agreeing to meet someone and then they're like calling and texting a lot and giving me a play by play of their day and all this stuff because they feel like they're like coming from out of town and they want to make sure this is still on. And again, like that's coming from a place of
Yeah.
insecurity.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't need to go over all my horror stories, but
Totally.
but really, like each one of them comes from this place where someone's feeling anxious or insecure in themselves. And I
Yeah.
notice that, like with me, sometimes though, like I'll be talking to someone, and then like what I say is isn't necessarily a reflection on them, but it's coming from my own doubts or fears or insecurity, and that's just not the way I want to walk through the world.
Mm.
um, like I have a lot of areas that I am a confident person in, but then sometimes those things creep up, and so
Yeah.
um, I like you guys focusing on self-love. I think relates to coming from a place of security when you're trying to make a connection with another human.
Wow, incredible. And it's like when we get to try to make connections with other humans, it's like this is what I'm hearing, like our own stuff comes up, our
Mhm.
our own insecurities. And what a blessing. Sounds like some tough dates, right? Tough dates. But at the same time, you're
But
making
I learned so much.
right. That I think that's the like discovery part where we're like, look, I know that's uncomfortable, but like the discoveries you're making for yourself of these parts of you that like, hey, here's some of my insecurities and stuff. More parts of you to learn to love unconditionally, which will, of course, the more we do that, we're kind of that's the making space to attract that partner we want in our life. But so I commend you for going through that. It is like I've always liked to frame this as like, call it training or put a different twist on it because you do kind of have that's the brave part, right? You got to be brave. Like you do have to put yourself out there and you're like, oh my God, I get insecurities from people and someone showed up at my gym, but also like your own stories are coming up, right? And and
Yeah.
this is the messiness of this. Like it's messy, but like, wow, that's like, I'm really happy for you that you're aware of some of your insecurities. What's it like for you when they pop up? How's the experience been from you, and what does it feel like to even consider loving those parts and doing that unconditionally for yourself? What's that experience like?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it depends on the context.
Okay.
Like if I'm in conversation with someone that I like know decently well, I can be like, "Hold up. I realized that that response I just had wasn't a reflection on you, and it wasn't coming from like the best place. That was
Mm.
stemming from something else. So, like, rewind, and this is what I meant by that." Or because I don't know, I don't like to sit on things and let things fester
Mm.
because then I just can like overthink things. And so I kind of like, when it comes to my mind, try to be like, wait a second. I just thought, I just realized that I'm saying this from this space.
Mm.
And that's not the place I want to be connecting from. So here's how I'd say that different. um,
Yeah.
or, yeah, or I guess like other times if I don't really know the person very well, I just kind of let it slide a bit. And then if I continue talking to them or if I'm like spending time with them, then I might bring it up, or then I might just like put it like I might just let it lie and like use it as a lesson and be like, oh, like I remember in this instance, I was viewing the scenario with a filter of insecurity and not like with a filter of like who I really am.
Mm.
And that part of me, because I've done a little like I go to therapy. It's changed my life.
Great.
I love it.
Yes.
Sometimes we do parts work of like
Yeah.
that part of me is a really young part that served me really well for a long time. And so I think if there's a pattern, if I'm noticing a pattern of like a certain part really starting to creep up, I the only like tool that I have really right now is to like identify what that part is. Not, I don't always know like how long it's been like riding with me.
Yeah,
Most of
right.
these parts are like ride or die,
Right,
like
right.
they've been there a long time.
Yeah.
But identifying that part and then like thinking through how it has served me. Like, how is it so strong and big? And like, why is it trying to take over right now? You know?
Wow.
Because, because like, there are times when the different things in our life where we've had to survive different, like for me, okay,
Yeah.
I'll share one of my parts. I am eternally optimistic, really positive person in general. And I'm really good at living in the ideal. And over the last couple years, I've been working really hard to live in reality and like look reality in the eye
Mm.
and live there. And that's really hard to do when your reality is painful.
Hmm.
And um, so
Yeah.
when I notice that I'm spending a lot of energy fighting against reality because that's not how it should be.
Ooh.
It's like, that's right. It's not how it should be, but it's how it is. So what do I want to do with that? Like, like the idealist part of me has served me and helped me survive a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Like a lot. Sorry, can I
No, let
say
it
that
rip.
on your show?
Oh, you
You're
can say whatever you want.
you're all good. It's real life.
It's helped me survive a lot of stuff, and it has served me really well when I didn't have anything else. But now, like, I have other resources and I have other strengths, and so like that part isn't just gonna go away. And if I fight it, I feel like it's just gonna like rear its head stronger. So
Mm.
I'm working on saying like, hey, like I am really grateful that you have carried me to this place in my life now. I'm like 41 years old. Like you've got me here.
That's right.
There's so many times where I wouldn't be the person I am without you, without this part
Mm.
helping me get here. But like we got it from here. Like you can chill a little bit. Like thank you. I honor you. And also let's just like step back in line.
Cate, wait, Cate, this is amazing work. You are a warrior. We have our belt, the victory to the vulnerable belt
I was gonna
that
get
we
that
have
out.
here.
I was really gonna get that
We're
out.
pulling it out right now, and we're
What?
putting this on your shoulder right now. This is for you. Salute to you. This is this is the courageous warrior work that is this inner work as you unlock yourself and you explore your stories. And we like to call it being a swordless samurai, where like you look at these old stories in this old way and you're like, okay, like I love it how you're like, I honor it and you were amazing and you got me here. But that story is not going to keep you going forward, right? It's like running software from a computer from the 1980s, or something that no longer works anymore. So to have that courage, Cate, to feel that vulnerability of like, what got us here is not going to keep us going. That is like what we like to call a really powerful death, and a death in the sense of, think of a caterpillar, right? And a caterpillar, what if a caterpillar didn't want to evolve? It would never become a butterfly. You know what I mean? So you're like,
Right.
you are letting yourself go through that process is amazing. And I just want, like, I'm sure you already feel it, but like energetically, when you do this work, like the energy that exists right now is real, like it's really real. And so that, like, that acceptance, like you said, of not living in kind of an idealistic world that worked for a while, but living in a more realistic world, as scary as that sounds, and maybe it feels like some old dreams or stories aren't going to make it, you're unlocking yourself with reality in real time. And that reward, the currency to me, is energy and vibration and frequency. And you'll just keep
Mm.
raising that higher and higher as you do this courageous, realistic work. You're like, oh my God, it makes me want to vomit. And it's so uncomfortable. And then like a day later, you're like, why do I feel really lined up in life now? And why do I feel really tuned in? And now I can hear the source deeper, and I feel like more aligned. And I think from that space, like bringing it back to making space for love and attracting partners in our life, that as you like connect with yourself deeply, Cate, like you're doing, and continue to do that courageous work, Your that vibration is automatically entering the world. I mean, it's real, and what you're attracted to is equally attracted to you. And this is what me and Joey were talking about. You're doing such good work, like really, really good work. A practical thing that I've noticed about making space is doing it like as you keep doing the inner work, your vibration and frequency is going to attract what you're really attracted to. And I know the first couple dates you go on, or you're like, oh my God, what is this? It's okay. Like you'll go through the process, but allowing yourself to go through it. And then tell me what you think about this, actually making physical space in your life and time space. So, for example, if you're like, hey, I'd like to share my life with someone and have a partner is different than like an accessory, right? An accessory is like something that just fits around your life, or like, say, like a
Mhm.
dog or like a purse or, something like that. But like a partner would be like, hey, in my day today, I can't just always be busy and I can't just have my whole house filled up. So I'm gonna make space in this one room in my house, and I'm gonna open this room up and make it empty. Therefore, creating space for, like, if someone wanted to be a part of my life, there's space. And maybe on Sundays or Saturdays, I'm gonna sit there on my couch for 3 hours and just be like really present and be like, this 3 hours is open for the right partner to be in my life, but I'm not just going to be busy. I'm going to be in a good way. Joey and I've talked about this, maybe a little bit lonely, but not a bad lonely, but you're like maybe a little bit bored, but not a bad bored, right? But you're like, I need
Uh-huh.
to make some space. So I
It's like
feel
a
it.
weird, like the way Graham describes it is like weirdly lonely. And the first time he
Yeah.
said that, I didn't get it. And then the more I started to go through the things like love myself unconditionally, listen to the stories, like all
Yeah.
that, the more I kind of like spent time with myself processing and just kind of like sitting in, and like maybe for you it's like sitting in the reality, right? Have you,
Oh,
like my therapist or people always say like sit in your feelings, right? So maybe like
Yeah.
sitting in your reality
yes,
and like
Cate. Yes.
being okay with that. And
Mhm.
like I've been really quiet so far, and I've shared this on an earlier episode. Like sometimes my brain really just wants to package things the right way, and I don't
Yeah.
interject. But I have a few questions and just some other comments, and I was gonna get the belt out for Cate too, because she is doing
She
an
deserves it.
amazing job of being vulnerable and sharing her truth. Um, First of all, those stories that you shared are insane. Like I
Yeah.
will say that earlier in my life, probably my 20s, maybe early 30s, like I had feeling, maybe
Yeah.
not that strong, and maybe not at the beginning of when I was just getting to know somebody, but I think in a relationship, once I'm in, those feelings have come up so strongly that like I don't know if I'd ever think about like going to find somebody or something like that, but like definitely those insecurities pop up.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
so I don't know what happens to these guys when like they don't even know you. Like I can't even
Right.
fathom that. Um, but I think for guys out there who maybe have done
It's my
that,
charisma. You can't blame them.
That's
that's
right.
the truth. Like for guys out there who maybe have those feelings come up, maybe they act on them, maybe they don't. Like when someone showed up at your gym or when someone's constantly checking in with you, like can you share with us like how does that make you feel?
I would love to hear
Um,
that, Kate. And I have one more thing to add
yeah.
on to that. Was there any, like making space? Sometimes I think a big part of that is saying no to things that we know aren't it, even if we don't have the thing that we want or want, it's not in our life yet, but like saying no. Was there any red flags that maybe you overrode when you went on dates with them? Just curious, like anything that you now looking back go, oh, that was something that was a no right off the bat, but I overrode that a little bit.
Well,
Or
I feel like these guys didn't even get to the date part,
Oh, totally.
right,
right? Am I
okay,
right?
okay.
So like how like
Well, yeah,
when
most
guys do that,
most
how does that, just so guys out there can hear, like obviously we're dating, we're like trying to like form a bond in a relationship. Like how does that kind of behavior make you feel?
annoyed.
Yeah.
It's like when you're hoping to hear from someone and your phone keeps dinging and it's like not that person
Mm,
over and over and over again.
yeah.
When that's annoying, like if girls are constantly getting in touch and you're like, you're not who I want to talk to right now. Um,
Totally.
or
Wow.
like ever.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, I think ultimately it feels annoying. It feels violating. But these are
Violating.
all within the context of potentially talking to someone for like anywhere between a week to a month
Okay.
and then deciding to go to meet up in person. This is not in the context of I've gone on a couple dates with them and or like I've at least like gone on one or two dates with them and then I'm talking to them. Like it's not really an ongoing thing because if it if it was someone that I had met and really liked and had a good time and was like talking to and started to like show those indications of anxiousness and insecurity about where they stood, if I liked them, I would probably call it out really gently.
Okay.
But I'd probably be like, hey, like I'm noticing like I'm wondering if you are hoping for more feedback from me.
Yeah.
Like I like you and I like where this is headed, but like I'm noticing these things. What's that about? And let them talk about it and then be like, okay, so like are you needing reassurance? Like I can give a little. I don't want to be giving reassurance every time I talk to someone, like every single day, but like if I like someone and I'm just learning how like their patterns or their um cycles, like emotional cycles, like I'm cool with just learning, oh, they want some reassurance. I can give that
Yeah.
all day long. But like this is different than that.
Well, it sounds like there's like a healthy level of being supportive and
Yeah.
understanding what the person you want to be with needs versus trying to be the thing that helps like acts like a crutch to them so that they don't have to do the work, right? And
Right.
so
Like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I was just saying so it sounds like you have a pretty good idea of like okay, this is clearly unhealthy behavior. I mean like to do this before you even meet to me is just I can't even it's
Man.
I don't even I don't have words for that.
I
Yeah, because you're a normal human. So,
yeah. And what I love about this, Kate, and thank you again for Kate from Oregon. Thank you for calling in and being a part of this. Is I really do feel like with a lot of men, with just some simple awareness and practice, they can get better at this stuff, and
yeah.
just
They have to
hearing what
want
you're
to.
saying, like obviously we need to be attracted to someone. There's got to be some chemistry, right? All of that. But the stuff you're saying is so doable for men, and we've thought about this, that self-awareness is a really attractive thing, and being
Self-awareness is sexy.
yeah, self-awareness can be
So
sexy.
is confidence.
Okay, right? Like
Yeah.
and it,
And who you are, like knowing what you bring, not in like in an obnoxious, cocky way, but
yeah.
just like resting in who you are. Like that's
Mm,
sexy. That's
So I have
confidence.
a question about that, but
amazing.
I'm gonna jump in really quick and just say one more thing about uh earlier when you were talking about um when things come up for you and sometimes you just let them go or you don't act or say anything and then later depending on what the relationship is you might bring it up or not. I would say from my perspective if it would always be nice to hear that from somebody, right? So I would say go
Mm,
ahead and be vulnerable and even if it's an hour, a day, a week later, go back to that person and kind of just share what you were really thinking. And
mhm.
kind of the determining factor for me is like
Mm,
obviously you're being vulnerable. There could be some nervousness about how are they going to respond, how are they going to react. Well, like if they're really the person you're supposed to be with, then they're going to react with kindness and curiosity and empathy and say it right. And if they react poorly, then you kind of have an answer there. Um, but I want to jump now to you were just talking about confidence. And on a lot of women's dating profiles, they say, I want a confident man, or
Yeah.
one of the phrases you see so much is, I want someone who's not afraid to lead.
Mm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if I know what that means. Like, I think I have an idea, but like, I might not. And I don't know. Like, to me, when I hear that, like, I want a man to lead, like, what I interpret that is like somebody wanting someone, like, they don't want to decide where to go to dinner, or they want like lead in the like
Yeah.
like that term. But I could like, I feel like I'm wrong, and maybe I'm not. If that is what they mean, then I have strong feelings about that. But do you have a sense of that? Like, do you know whether you personally or friends of yours? Like, I feel like I'm very
Yeah.
lost in that.
Yeah. I
Question.
mean, probably you'll get a different answer depending on each girl that you ask. And I'm sure there's overarching differences when it comes to like subsets of women, whether it's culturally, age wise, their dating background or whatever. Like you're
Yeah.
going to get different answers, I'm sure. But for me, it's not like if I'm saying I want someone that leads, which, yeah, I guess like most girls probably do. It's not like where we'll go for dinner because then you're not ever like bringing your own preferences or personality to the relationship, and that sucks. Um,
Yeah.
you're never like fully known, even in those like little quirky things of like, oh, they like to go to this place and they like to order this. There's something um, beautiful and like comforting in someone knowing you in little trivial ways and also the big ways, right? Um,
Yeah.
but for me, when I hear someone say like, I want someone that leads, like where my mind goes is emotionally and what's the word? Through vulnerability. Like I want them, like I would like to be in a relationship with someone that is leading the way in terms of depth of vulnerability and
Ooh.
like the depth of connection and emotion. Like I will match and I will like link arms and be right there, but like someone who's willing to be like, no, this is a little uncomfortable and it's scary, but let's lean in.
Mm.
Let's be vulnerable together. Because like, as nice as it is to be comfy and cozy, like, unfortunately, that's not the conduit to growth. So, if you want to truly be known by someone and have a connection, it's going to require a little bit of that. And so, when I think about someone saying, like, I want a man who leads, like, especially like for my background, I came from a relationship where emotional connection was really void. And so I'm not interested in managing people's emotions
Yeah.
and like, babying them along the way. I want someone that takes ownership and accountability of who they are and their emotions and like is willing to take me there too.
Ooh.
Wow.
Cate, you are incredible. Absolutely fucking
Why?
incredible.
Thank you.
Like you are absolutely incredible. And I just want to say, for the men out there that are listening, that's like as good as fucking advice as you could ever get. And if you're looking for a place as a man, to be a man, to feel masculine, to feel like a warrior, to feel like confident in a leader, Cate, you just broke it down. It's that willingness to go into that vulnerability, to lean into that. I, in my experience, have never felt anything more warrior-esque than me having to face my own fears and do that. And so I think in everything you said lies one, that's it. And then two, it gives people a space to go, actually, this is where you demonstrate all these qualities, all these things that like I notice that like men want to experience. They're like, I want to feel like, I don't know, an alpha. I hear this word all the time. Well, I'm like, guess what? Everything that Cate just said, that's how you be an alpha. Like you go
Yeah.
in and you face yourself. And this is, I'm in my performance coaching mode a little bit, working with a lot of performers. Like you got to face yourself. And it's the same thing in a relationship. And Cate, like you clearly just explained what confidence is to you and what leadership is. And I couldn't align more deeply with you. And I also think going out there, again, for the men, you can do this. And Joey, you've been doing this profound work the last couple months. It feels scary going into it. What does it feel like after you do this work and lean into the vulnerability and
the
stuff? What's it
the
like?
one word Kate said that she's looking for, confidence. Like, absolute confidence. When you feel like, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know if I can make this breakthrough, and then you do it and you get through certain, like each little step, like whether it's approaching someone or whether it's working on something with yourself or making a decision that there's just the unknown. Like once you get through enough of those to realize like you're not going to die on the other side, there's so much more confidence. And Kate, like I can't tell you how much I appreciate that answer,
Yeah.
because I think
Seriously,
like
Kate.
as a guy, right? Like I think when I hear I want someone who leads, like my mind just goes to the practical, right? Like, oh, they want me to
Mhm.
like make the decisions and do this and do that. And like when you think about that, when I see that, there's like a lot of it can feel like a lot of pressure,
Come on,
right?
think of the story you're
And
saying
I
right now that you're bringing up that's not even close to a
not
truth,
even
that Kate's
close.
breaking down on the deepest level,
And I'm
giving all
like,
of us a chance to let that story, that's not the definition of confidence in leadership.
right.
Because Kate, we, for whatever reason, a lot of men, we were sold that. I don't know where it comes
It's so
from,
weird. It's like
but it's
it's
out
a
there on some
thing.
levels. Yeah.
And
It's
I
a really shallow version
Yeah.
of
like
leadership.
really
Yeah,
right.
right?
And I
It's, yeah.
like just knowing that from you, I hope that every man hears that has a question about that. And I don't know if I'm the only one that thought that or got those feelings, but I think it's also a little, I don't know how to describe, like I have I will own that I thought at certain points that I was trying to lead or be the vulnerable or emotional one, and I was probably doing a little bit more of like emotional hemorrhaging
Yeah.
instead of
Mhm.
being emotionally aware. Um, but it's also I've had I feel like I've had some bad experiences where I have tried to lead, but then again,
Mhm.
like I'm like as I'm saying this, I know that like Graham's answer is going to be like, "Well, just get back out there and do it again." Like that wasn't who you're supposed to be with, right? But I
Yeah.
really appreciate that answer.
Yeah.
That was
Well,
major.
so now I'm curious though, like in those times when you've tried to lead or like been like, I'm gonna do this and it hasn't gone well, is it from a place of insecurity to where like leadership turns into control? Like it's coming from a place where you're desiring to give this person what they say they want, but then it like because it's shallow and hasn't gone to the depths of I don't know where it needs to go. Like I feel like because I feel like sometimes leadership under the guise of leadership, control starts to creep in, and that like things go really south. Then
Mm.
I
have you like I don't know, have you seen that or felt that ever?
I think well, I just have to be honest and say yes. Like I felt that.
Yeah.
I felt it from both sides, like from me and from some people that I've been with. Um, I think what I was describing was more like um, trying to be emotionally vulnerable and then having it not be well received, or like not having there be space in the relationship for my feelings. But as I'm saying this, like I'm also realizing and remembering that like in those situations I was with people who were mirroring relationships from my family growing up, where there wasn't
Mhm.
room for anyone's
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And so I think there's also just something to be said that like I was just not with the right people. And I think if when I have the opportunity to do it again, I hope that I'm hoping I'm much better at choosing the person that I get to do it with, because
Mm.
the right
Yeah.
person will be receptive.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is fabulous. I feel like we got like Kate from Oregon. We're so glad you called in. I feel like we got super deep, and I feel like you've really enlightened us a lot on, I mean, leadership and confidence, right? These are, I think, all of us want to feel confident in life, and all of us want to
Mhm.
feel like on some level we're leading. We're not just, I guess, following or being played in life. And I think just recapping what you said, that willingness to lean into the vulnerability, to be emotionally available, to go explore that, like that is the confidence. And bringing it back to like a mental performance side, that shows us that confidence isn't I feel amazing, then I do something. Confidence is really courage, and confidence
Yeah.
is clarity of like, okay, I have the clarity of what to do here, and I've got to be courageous. And then like Joey said, the back end of doing that is you do unlock some real, like you're like, whoa, like real confidence has been unlocked. And so this is a tried and true training principle. And this is the power of vulnerability, Cate. And this is why I think for a lot of men, where I'm like, first of all, thank you for leading us in this. Thank you for all the great therapy you've done. You are amazing. You are making space for love in your life. You are really doing it. And I know there's people out there that are hearing this going, oh my God, like, where is Cate? She's incredible. Because I know there's men out there who do this work. A lot of times they're quiet. A lot of times they don't speak up very loud because if they've tried to, they've been beat down, right? If you're like, hey, confidence is being emotionally available. Some men have said that and been kind of laughed at, or been like,
Mhm.
that's not it's the other way. But I think we're in this new realm where like we want the depth, we want the connection, and we want that. So your definition of confidence and leadership, we will never forget that. And this is amazing. And I want to just salute you for doing your work, salute you for everything you're doing. And phew, grateful to have you today calling in, like for real, Cate, for real.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, thank you for the work you guys are doing too. I think it's, like I said, I think it's so interesting. I think it's so needed, and I'm learning along with you guys.
Awesome.
Well, don't hesitate to call us soon. Like keep us posted
Yeah, I
on
want to.
this.
We want to keep
Well,
updated
well,
on your
that's the
journey.
real thing on this, right? It's an everyday practice. So there's no quick fix, right? It's work.
Yeah.
And even when this is what Joey and I were talking about. Like, okay, we attract a good partner in our life. Like this is it, a good fit. We've made space. Well, guess what? It's still work every day. Like, and we're humans in the human experience, and this is a messy experience. And so what we hope that people get from our show is one, to have the courage, like you've mentioned, which is really confidence, and then to have the tools to do this, because that's what I really felt lucky in life, that I was given these tools as a young human being, as a teenager, and it profoundly changed my life. And so we frame it like tools or a practice or a skill, and now we know we can practice it. So victory to the vulnerable takes practice. How about accepting ourselves as we are, Cate? You brought this up earlier in the call, that's like a real thing, like accepting myself as I am. If that's not confidence,
Mhm.
I don't know what confidence is.
Yeah,
Like,
that's where it starts.
that's it,
A
right?
hundred
The
percent.
unconditional self love. I accept myself as I am. I love myself unconditionally. To me, those are the foundation for all this. So, salute to you, Cate. Let's stay in touch. Keep us posted. Call us soon. We'd love to hear how you're doing, and we'd love to have you back on the show.
All right. Well, thank you. All
You got it.
Awesome. Thank
All
you
right.
so
All
much.
right. We'll talk soon, Cate. Cate the
right.
Morgan,
Bye.
everybody. Let's go. All right. So now let's call our expert.
Yeah, let's call her.
Let's call it. Let's
I
call
gotta get my
Maris.
I gotta get my questions for her out. Like, dude, I cannot tell you like, and I know that like I mean I said the shallowest version of like choosing dinner, right? But like that's
No, that's
that
real
area of
though.
things,
Yeah.
right? Like
Lead.
make the decisions, like do this, do that, and like there's just a lot of pressure in that. Like I
Yeah. Yeah.
like she said, like I want somebody that has a voice in it too. But
How
I'm
many men have
absolutely
heard that in life? We're
and
just in our
taking it
own
that way.
heads
You
going,
hear it
I
all
got
the
to
time.
lead. Maybe
Like,
it's,
what does that mean?
I
Oh
got to
my
lead
God.
with a
Like,
perfect
what?
body, or I got to have
Right.
the most money of anyone, or whatever the status is. And you're like, how
And
about just be emotionally
I
available?
think they just want us to lead to make the relationship feel
Come on.
safe,
Lead with
right? Like,
working
the
on our
more we
own
talk about
selves.
this, the more it's coming down to
Come on, man.
safety.
Come on. You know how someone feels safe? They know you've worked on yourself. Okay, here's how this goes down. You've heard this, you've
Shit.
heard the art of war. The best way to win a war, never fight a war. So if I'm fist fighting you, right, I'm losing. Even if I beat you up for whatever reason, I've lost because I'm best way to win a war is never fight a war. You know the best way to never fight a war? You have to win the war inside. This is where the real fight is. Cate just broke down where the fight is. And it starts with a willingness to be vulnerable, create emotional space, lean into yourself. And apparently that's the sexiest shit of all time. Right? There it is.
Yeah, I like.
So this is real. Vulnerability is going to feel it feels vulnerable. So if I think of the word war, we go, okay, what does war stand for? Wisdom, awareness, and response. I'm wise enough to know where the fight is. It's inside. I have the awareness. I'm working on it. There's a story popping up. And I'm going to choose my response. I don't react. I respond. Take a breath and I move on, right? Boom, 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 right? We're taking the 4, 7, 8. In for 4, hold for 7, breathing out for 8. So we can move through these moments. And someone like Cate, should you be someone who is going to be in her field, if you can do that, that's attractive.
You're winning.
Now, is that do it once and then never do it again? No, that's do it every day. So that's the power of dedication. No one's motivated to do this every day. I'm not, you're not, no one is. But dedication means if I want to make space for someone, well, I gotta do this every day, a little bit. Got to. And I'm not gonna feel it, but if I do it, I'll feel good on the back end. Just like you were like, hey, I may not feel vulnerability feels vulnerable, but you're like, I'm actually unlocking profound confidence. Go through it. Now we're training. Now you're a warrior. Now you know how to fight. It's not outside, it's inside. You win those fights inside. You might notice this. We have our little bunny. We have our little bunny, right? You might not notice
We're taking
this.
suggestions for the name. We don't
Come
have a
on.
name yet.
If you make space for love and you create safety for people, just like if you're around a little bunny, you create safety, that little bunny might come sit right here. If a bunny feels scared, it's not going to be around you. If my dog comes out and is barking and yelling at the bunny's going to run away because it knows it's in danger. Showing up at someone's gym uninvited, that's scary. That's not that, and whatever your trigger was, that's your chance to choose your response, lean into your vulnerability, be authentic. Maybe that's something you bring up later. Wow, I had this crazy fear. I wanted to show up. I didn't do that. I chose my response, and like, wow, being authentic and real, but showing you have an intelligence. So this being able to not go at it, choose your response, slow it down, feel vulnerable. Now we're on the way to real confidence, and you're making that space. All right. Shall we call Maris?
Let's call Maris.
All right, everyone. We're going to call Maris. And Joey, you ready for a question?
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. I'm calling Maris, everybody.
Just introduce her. You could, talk for a little bit. And then...
I'm gonna have Maris introduce herself. The great Maris.
Hello.
Maris, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the Making Space for Love show. We're so grateful to have you on.
I'm so happy to be here virtually, vocally.
Come on.
Hi, Maris. This is Joey.
Come meet Joey, Maris. All right. Well, Maris, before we get going, we had a brief introduction of you when we got the show started. Why don't you take 60 seconds or so, or however long you want, and introduce yourself to the audience and who you are and what you do.
Sure. So my name is Maris, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I live and practice in Sacramento, but I see people all over California, and my specialties include PTSD, trauma in general, and anxiety, as well as complicated grief, so things that remain unprocessed from loss. I've been in practice licensed 7 years, which is crazy to say already, and practicing for 10 because it takes about 3 years to get your hours done. I absolutely love what I do, and I'm interested in not only working with, mental health and helping people who want to feel better, but also taking what's great and making it even greater for people in terms of creativity and performance and the positive psychology, and seeing what we can do to enhance the mental realm and what that does for humanity.
Oh.
I'm already on your website making an appointment. No, I'm just kidding. But as you were talking, I was like, oh, I could use all of that.
Yes, you can find Maris. Maris, what's the best way to find you? Is it on like LinkedIn, or what's a great place for people to find your practice?
So you can Google Agate Therapy. You can also email me, my name, Maris, like Paris with an M, at agate-therapy.com, or agate-therapy.com is my website. Or you can Google my name and therapist, and there's a couple other listing websites. Email, text are really easy ways to get in contact with me. They're all about equal.
And we'll drop your website links in your email.
We'll put everything in the back. We plan on having Maris on the show quite a bit. I'm lucky Maris came into my life through basketball, through a great coach, Ryan Seipkins in Sacramento, who I met when I was working with the Sacramento Kings. He said, Graham, you got to meet Maris. She's an incredible therapist. And she's just, Maris, you're a great piano player, great artist. You got a bunch of great stuff going on in your life. And we were thinking about calling this the Maris Marriage Minute. I don't know. We were kind of thinking about a name for our little bit to have some fun. We just had a caller, Cate from Oregon, called in and was talking about us about looking for confidence and leadership in a man when she's dating. And then she broke down, Joey asked, well, what is like confidence and leadership? Because I think we think there's different things. And she mentioned that confidence for her was being emotionally available, leaning into vulnerability, really having that ability to kind of lean into that. And that's where she thought the leadership was like, can you lead yourself into these scary places of yourself? And so she was blowing our mind.
And it came from, so I had said that, I asked her, I said, I have a question for you, because when I'm looking at dating profiles, one of the things I see a lot is women say, I want a man who's not afraid to lead. And
Mhm.
like my brain, like my, you know, caveman brain breaks that down practically into like somebody who wants decisions to be made, like where are we going to go to dinner, or like,
Yeah.
weighing in on things. Like I want somebody who has a voice in a relationship.
Almost kind of like shallower stuff is where our
Right.
brain
And
goes. Yeah.
so, and I was like, I could be totally wrong. And she was just like, yep, you're wrong. Like, at least like that's for me. And so, I think when guys hear that, our brain does go there, and it creates a lot of pressure. Like, I don't know if I want to make every decision, but
Yeah.
that's not what you wanted. And I said, I can certainly take the lead in, you know, doing the emotional work on myself, and leading emotionally in the relationship. And I think that kind of gave me a lot of insight.
Yeah.
So in your practice, Maris, like what do you see in terms of women wanting men to lead?
I think it's a complicated question, but I don't actually see a lot of couples anymore. My license says marriage and family, and that means that my scope of practice includes those units of treatment. When I do see couples, it's what I call collateral. So I might be seeing an individual, like a woman or a man, and then they want to bring their partner in as support to their treatment. Or I just talk to people about relationships and
Yeah.
dating. And I think that there are initiation, leadership, action behaviors that men can take that kind of ease the thinking that a woman has to do. And I think it varies woman to woman if she desires that, or what to what level or degree she desires that. But I do think, although I didn't speak to this person who called in, what she's talking about is I want equality, not so much to be led as in I'm secondary to this person, but
Mm.
I can walk with them, and then we can carve out a path together because we
Mm.
share the same emotional reality. That's sort of what I hear in that. Um, and I think that a metaphor that I like a little bit better is, for both genders, but for men and women, I think a man is sort of like the glass that holds the woman, and the woman is the water, right?
Mm.
And the woman can splash around, become tumultuous, and have her moods and feelings, and the man is just standing with her, is okay with it, is not to take, there's a spectrum to this, but there
Yeah.
is a stability and a containment there, and that's something more resonant with how I would imagine it as a healthy relationship than being led. Like when I hear led, I hear also follow,
Yeah.
which I think could lead us to a whole other discussion, but yeah.
Yeah. One of the things Graham and I
Yeah.
talked about after Kate got off was that the way she was talking about it, it's almost like leading the relationship and providing a sense of safety in the
Mm.
relationship.
And I feel like Maris, when you mentioned, thank you for breaking down the glass and
Yeah.
water analogy. So powerful. It's almost like the glass is there to accept the water as it is. And I feel
Can
like,
hold.
And
Yeah.
hold it.
and hold that space for the water. And then it's like the water feels safe, that the
Hmm.
glass can hold that space. Are we on the right track with that?
Yeah, it is okay with whatever the water is doing, the glass can hold it. The water,
Mm.
women, but I also think there are times when women need to do that for their partner,
Yeah.
right? That life is complex. It's not always going to
Right.
be masculine and feminine roles. And I think there's over glamorization and, all these things that women see in media and hear on social media of other people posting, like, this is what my man does for me. And yes, those are great things and you should look for them. But I do think that overall, the masculine energy is a container and the feminine energy is a flow state, like water.
Wow, that's amazing how you
Wow,
just
that
broke it
yeah.
down as energy. So masculine and feminine aren't necessarily boy or girl. Masculine and feminine are energies that we have
Yes.
inside of us. That every human has access to both.
And we need both.
We got to learn how to use both. I think a lot of us might be a little bit stunted in learning how to
Yeah.
use some of both of these energies. But that's incredible the way you break that down. Like making someone else feel safe. I know, like when we feel triggered, we none of us necessarily feel safe, right? When we get hit with a trigger, and it's like in that moment, if like say our partner, we're triggered in a situation with our partner. Now
Mm-hmm.
here's a moment. This is a really important moment because if I act on the trigger, I'm clearly not going to make anyone feel safe. And but also like being able to do my work in this moment. Here's the vulnerability. Being able to maybe choose my response, take a breath, and even though I'm triggered, still holding that space for my partner. I feel like this is warrior work. Like when I try to work on this in my relationship, and this is something that of course I have to face and do, when I'm able to do this well, I do feel in the moment, I'm like, wow, I just like, what a warrior. Like, I really do feel on a deep level, like a sense of accomplishment. And I feel like I got to face myself and kind of really face some fear and face something that can be not the best if we act on it, but like it only comes out, Maris. This, I think I'm coming back to my question, it only comes out in an intimate relationship. That's what I've noticed. It's like in these moments where I'm most feeling vulnerable, that's when I had
Mm-hmm.
to learn to most kind of do the work that you're talking about. And like, I'm not perfect at it, I think, but like,
Well, nobody is.
okay, yeah,
I think the too like the analogy of the glass and the water. Maris is saying like the water can do whatever it wants, like as it flows through all its different
yeah,
forms and phases and stages, and whether no matter which partner is the glass and the water in the relationship, it's whoever is the glass is like she says holding that, and whoever is the water to me, it's like you're allowing that person to understand that you fully see them,
mm,
right, through all of their different forms, and that you're okay with that, and that they
wow,
can exist wholly within that glass that
mm,
you're creating space
ooh,
for. Is that
Yes. And yeah, I mean, asterisks, aside from anything that's just inappropriate or harmful to somebody emotionally, but, we all have mood changes in a given day. And kind of the archetype of water is that it represents emotions. It's always in a state of flow. This too shall pass, right? Even the good shall pass. And then a state of stress comes, and then something good comes. And that is the nature of existence. That's the nature of an emotional body, is that it's in constant flow like water.
mm. This thank you, Maris. This really helped like my own training, my own experience, my triggers. My parents got divorced when I was super young, and I basically grew up with my mom. My trigger was my mom was going to leave, and I was like, oh my god, if she leaves, I'm going to die. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
this story's in my head at 4 years old, right? So I'm feeling all this stuff, and then of course when my wife Tina, now we have an amazing relationship. We've worked super hard on it. When we first moved in together, of course all of my triggers are coming up, like, oh my god, she's going to leave. And we've been friends for years before, so there was like no doubt, no question that that wasn't going to happen. But yet I'm feeling all these triggers of like, oh my god. And so I'm feeling hyper kind of vigilant on watching her and making sure she doesn't leave. And I had to really go through this a lot. And at the same time, I was trying to learn to be the glass. And her experience of being the
Yeah.
water, Maris, she would say to me, Graham, sometimes it's going to look like I'm going to die emotionally, but I'm not going to die. And I was like, oh my God, like, how do I do this? And I would practice it though. When and she would be going through her water phase, but she was totally okay. She was just saying it was going to be a lot, and I learned to deal with it and got better and better and more skilled. And I look at our life now and I'm like, wow, I'm so much better in accepting her as she is, loving her as she is. And I got to work through all my triggers and stories because I for sure got triggered, but I kept working through them and kind of de-energize those triggers over time, right? So it's not so electric over time. And now I can look at Tina and I feel like I've gotten much better at supporting her. So that's hope for everyone out there. If I can do it, you can do it. It does take practice. Maris, you're amazing. We don't want to keep you for too long, but Joey, did you have any other questions or anything else?
I mean, I have a list of questions, man. Like Graham, and I'm not gonna like bombard you with them all today, but Graham shared with me a little bit about some of the conversations you two have had, and
Yeah.
I have so many questions, but we'll save them for another time. But the one question I have, and I understand that this is a question that has multiple layers of an answer. But if you had to give, sum it up in a paragraph or something like that, if someone asked you, what does it really take to be available for love? Like, what would you say?
Nervous system regulation. And that's not a paragraph. It's a sentence.
Damn,
That's
you got it down to
okay.
3 words. Nervous system regulation. Maris, you said it quick. I know you were using your deep intelligence. There it is.
Well, it's just, about knowing how your body responds. Like Grandma, you're explaining that history.
Yeah.
There's the emotional body, there's the logic body, right? You knew based on the relationship, time, and investment that she's not likely in a logical way to flee, but your body felt like it needed to predict the chaos that it had learned. And that's a nervous system regulation issue. And I'm keeping it concise as the request of Joey, but we could talk about that as its whole episode.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
We'll do that next time. Let's take a note on that. Nervous system. Maris, what did you just say is our nervous system body? How'd you
regulation.
break it down?
Nervous system regulation.
Emotional body, I call it emotional body, logic body, but it comes down to nervous system regulation.
This, I feel like you're such an expert at this. You could take us 10 miles deep, and we will bring this
Spiral
up in the
down.
next call. But I think it's a great place to kind of wrap up what we're doing.
This
today.
is what these guys. So
Excellent.
Yeah.
You can go back and listen to Cate for what she said, but she was telling us stories like these are stories before she even met in person guys, like, right? She's just on the dating apps, chatting back and forth. These are things that they were doing. One guy wanted to know she was real, knew that she was working out at her gym, knew which gym she worked out at, and showed up at the gym.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? Like another dude was like, before they met, they were like planning the date, and he was like checking in with her like constantly over a couple days to make sure it was still on, and like giving her like a play-by-play of like what he was doing every day, like to try and keep contact. Like those are clear signs of people not being able to regulate their nervous
That's the
system.
opposite of emotional system regulation, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Maris,
Yes.
this is amazing. We also heard early on with our first caller last week that like we asked her like what's attractive, what's a turn on, and essentially she said, can you slow things down when everything feels sped up and you feel the emotion, you feel like in a reactionary state, can you choose your response? So we're hearing this from you, we're hearing it from multiple callers that this emotional regulation, emotional intelligence, sometimes Maris we call it palms down, right? Which is I don't react, I respond, I take a breath and I move on. Like practicing that in that moment. We've been teaching the 4-7-8 breath. Breathe
Excellent.
in. Breathe in. Okay, great. We're on the right track. So let's pick up on this next time. I think you've hit it on the head and you've scratched the surface on everything that we need. And we're hearing it from you, our expert. We're hearing it from our 2 callers. So we're really seeing patterns here.
Yeah.
Real patterns. So thank you, Maris. Thank you for calling in today.
You're very welcome. It was a blast.
We'll look forward to having you for our Marriage Minute, Mindset Minute here. And okay, we'll talk to you real soon. Thank you, Maris.
All right. Take care.
Okay,
All
bye.
right, you too.
Bye.
Wow, what a treat to have Maris calling in from
Wow, she's
Sacramento.
great.
Yeah.
I was like, in a paragraph, she gave me 3 words.
Emotional system regulation. Write that down, everybody. If you're a man out there and he was like,
Nervous
what's the thing
system
that
regulation.
nervous system. What's the thing? Your question was,
How, like, I'll read
you said in a paragraph, what's the one
paragraph,
thing?
it said, what do you think it really takes for someone to be available for love?
Okay. You're out there, you want to be in a partnership, you want to date, nervous system regulation.
Work on that.
And me,
that's
like,
the fight inside. That's
come on,
what
come on.
that is what we have been
That's the
talking
war.
about. That is the war inside.
Come on, let's have some fun. Let's keep it real. Let's bring it back. This is our palms down, right? It's our palms down. Wherever you're tuning in from, if you haven't seen us, we got jewelry that says palms down. Why? Because this is a money moment for you right now. What is our palms down? I don't react. I respond. I take a breath and I move on. All right? I don't react. That means this is the universal sign I'm in my feelings. Nervous system is shooting through the roof, right? Okay. And nothing like a relationship to bring it all out, like the real shit. In this moment, what everyone has said, our experts, our callers, choose your response in this moment. And me as a mental performance coach, this is your moment. This is when you win the fight. Right here. Take you 60 seconds. I feel this, totally triggered. What am I going to do? How about 2 rounds of the 4-7-8? How about I sit here, good posture, shoulders back, head up. 2 rounds of the 4-7-8. So we're in for 4, hold for 7. Joey, exhale slow. You know this. When you slow that fucking exhale down, that's shifting your nervous system in the moment. You're regulating your nervous system. So this isn't, it's real.
I want to, like, when you say slow your exhale down, and this was a thing that clicked for me, instead of thinking about slowing your exhale down, thinking about controlling your exhale.
Better word.
Right? Like that is the switch of the word that did it for
so
me.
Tough on the dating out there. You feel like showing up at the gym uninvited. You don't feel in control in that moment. Your sense of control is go to the gym. No. Now your sense of control is how fucking slow can you exhale? And you want to be a warrior and alpha? This is your moment. This is your moment. And guess what? You win the fights by yourself. It's you versus you. Not you in the middle of some arena, like it's you versus you. In that moment when you feel it, before you go act on it, you go, let me win this fight. And let me control my breath. Why? Because I'm a warrior and I'm showing I'm an alpha right now. And what's an alpha? You know how to harmonize the frequency. This is real. Most all the alphas I've ever met are women. It's just how it goes. Right?
Amen.
We have a chance to practice this for men. They're telling us be courageous. That's sexy. They're telling us regulate yourself. That's attractive. You can find love. Jesus. I'm saying I've seen this. See how many championships I've won with this shit? Some real shit. I got rings. I've seen this work in sports business. This will work in relationships. You got to practice it though, Joey.
This is, I mean,
you got to practice this shit.
It's incredible. And like you said, it's a pattern, all the same thing. Came down to the 3 words she just shared.
Make this feel safe by doing this, and we'll put the fucking belt on your shoulder.
That.
Yeah, and you get to win this. Look how silly we're getting here. Look at this shit. Sing it with us. This is real life. This is how this works. This is safe. You do this. You get the belt. This might sit on your lap.
Amen.
Anyway, thanks for tuning into the show today, everybody.
Yeah, thank you as always. Follow us. Send us questions. You want to be on the show and call in, let us know. And we'll be back next week with another caller and, Dr. Matt and Maris.
Nervous system regulation. Get on it. Let's go. See you next week. Peace.